This is the season of downsizing, layoffs, and cost cutting in organizations. Organizations across the board, across the globe actually, are going through a bit of a turmoil, and they are starting to downsize, lay off employees for various reasons. Cost cutting seems to be the norm. Now, until recently, the cost cutting would follow a certain pattern, starting with VRS, a voluntary retirement scheme. Now, those voluntary retirement schemes were pretty structured. Employees who were eligible for it would get an email or a notification, and they would be offered a VRS. If they resigned, they would get a certain package and they could walk out. Now, the VRS was a pretty popular tool because for various reasons. Firstly, the older employees who were offered this were the most expensive employees. And so by letting go of those expensive employees, they could be replaced with more junior people eventually. The other reason why VRS was popular is that older employees tend to have more benefits. Some of the more structured benefits that are vested, say ESOPs, stock options, and pension plans, and various other sundry benefits that they would have negotiated over the years. And in one stroke, the organization not only gets rid of the employees, but also gets the benefits of the books. So this was a pretty popular means. Now, organizations have been going through this for a while, and many tech companies and even multinationals do not have a large pool of employees that are eligible for VRS. So what they have done is worked with the HR teams to come up with a slick and devious way to make sure employees resign with a carrot. And let me explain how it works. There is a person, a manager for a multinational whom I'm mentoring right now. And he was talking about his previous job and how he resigned and was let go. And the way it worked was one day he was called for a meeting with his boss's boss and an HR representative. And in that meeting, his boss started by talking about how the company was going through a bit of a restructuring. And there were teams that were identified for restructuring. And his was one of the teams. He, along with his teammates and his manager, were identified. And at that point, the manager handed over to the HR representative. The HR rep went on to talk about the benefits that were being offered to the people who would voluntarily resign. The benefits were pretty straightforward. The person resigning would be put on garden leave almost instantly for 2 months. That is the notice period. And subsequent to that, he would get outplacement benefit. An outplacement consulting firm that was engaged would provide outplacement service. And he would be offered 1 month's severance pay for every year of service, along with a small bonus. Now, this was the carrot that was being offered. The stick was pretty obvious. If he did not take that, he would not resign. He would be forced out, laid off, without any benefits, because the company was not obligated to offer any benefits. And in online forums, in social media, I see a lot of these posts about people frantically coming online and saying, "I was asked to resign with these conditions or these benefits being offered. Should I take it or not?" Now, it really comes down to your personal situation. But this seems to be the norm in organizations. And for organizations, this is a pretty slick way of laying off people without making public announcements, because these layoffs are not publicly announced. They don't get notified to authorities. Say if you're in the US, a person who voluntarily resigns, depending on the state in which he or she lives, may not be eligible for unemployment benefits because it's a voluntary separation. And so the company does not have to notify the authorities. Pretty slick, pretty smart if you ask me. But this seems to be a norm that seems to be catching on. Thank you.